I'm a proponent of AI, but I have a reasonable expectation on what AI is today and high hopes for what it will be in the future. You take a bad recruiter's call transcript and a good recruiter's call transcript, and you're going to get two wildly different candidate overviews. I would say have a balanced view of AI. It's not going to solve all your problems, and it's not going to kill you. It's probably somewhere in between.
Welcome back to Talent Hunters, where we explore insights and trends shaping the global recruiting and staffing industry. Want to build talented teams that drive your company toward big goals and big growth? Then this podcast is for you. And now, let's join the conversation with today's episode of Talent Hunters, brought to you by HireQuest. Connect with us at hirequest.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vince Holt, and I'm the host of Talent Hunters. And today I'm excited to have Debra, the founder and CEO of Hyphenate, located in Chicago, Illinois. Debra specializes in helping organizations grow and scale profitably. Welcome, Debra.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I really want to dig right into this from the standpoint of what inspired you after years of revenue-focused functions, to start a company focused on helping others grow and scale.
The initial problem that Hyphenate solves was a problem that I felt deeply for 15 years. I remember climbing into bed at night and starting to work on proposals, and I would still be working on the proposals as my husband was snoring next to me, and 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning passed. And then the next morning I would get on the phone with a customer and I would realize I had the wrong name in the document. It was just, I was an expert at my field. I was a subject matter expert. I was very good at crafting solutions for my customers. But the process of getting that thinking onto paper in a way that both sold my services and then also aligned me and my customer on scope for once I won the project, it was a pain in the butt, to use nice language. And I just wanted to make life easier for folks that did that work. And then from there was just a bunch of other things that I could do to make the work easier for those who are in it right now. So that's what I wanted to do.
So help us understand really what your mission is with Hyphenate.
Yeah. Well, short term, the mission is to unlock tenured, seasoned, smart subject matter experts to spend more time where they add the most value, talking to their customers, thinking of creative ways to solve new problems, thinking through the risks of how the project that they're proposing, what are the risks that they could get in front of and mitigate. Unlocking the time for them to do that is the mission right now, but we are not stopping there, and that's not the long-term mission of the company. The long-term mission of the company is to take the knowledge and expertise and decision-making that happens inside my brain and my gut when I'm coming up with these solutions and turn that into usable data that we can marry with data like margin achievements and win rates and customer satisfaction. So when I'm sitting at my desk, I get off the phone with a customer and I'm thinking, man, there are 10 ways I could do this project. I can actually start to see data that helps me understand the trade-offs between those approaches. Which one is best for them? Which one is best for me? What does best even mean? Which one gets them what they want the fastest? What does that do to my margins if I took that approach? That level of data makes me so much better as a provider to my customers, as a partner to my customers. And that data has just not existed up until this point. And we are going to unlock it and we're going to unleash it to the people who use our tool. And I think we're going to transform how services companies add value to their customers.
So how are you discovering your clients?
Brute force. No, I'm kidding. It's a tough market for everyone. No, I'm kidding. Well, I was in the industry for 15 years, so I know at least a lot of the brands and the logos that operate in this space. And then it has been a bit of a snowball effect. So I will talk to an IT consulting firm, and they'll get a ton of value from our system. And they'll say, you know who you should be talking to? You should be talking to this other firm. Or they'll go to a conference and they'll say, there's all these AI panels, and they'll ask, what's the most transformative AI product that you've used? And we're lucky that Hyphenate gets mentioned. And so it's been a mix of reaching out to the companies and brands that I know from my past experience, and then getting inbound interest from folks that I knew existed and then folks that I didn't. So that's been great.
What a wonderful segue, because my very next question was, I understand that you're a strong proponent of AI. So what has been your experience, or can you help me understand how I can leverage AI in what I do in the recruiting world?
Yeah, a million ways. I am a proponent of AI, but I have a reasonable expectation on what AI is today and high hopes for what it will be in the future. And what I find when I talk to people is that a lot of people believe that AI is a magic button that when pressed delivers these magical outputs. And the truth is that's just not the case. AI is fantastic. It has been life-changing for me, and I think it's just going to fundamentally change the world, not to be hyperbolic, but I do. I think it's going to change the world. But AI is still, it's not a human. I think people do humanize it, but it doesn't think, it doesn't feel. You have to feed it and you have to guide it. And there's no magic button. You have to work alongside it to get the most out of it. And so in the recruiting space, I actually, I was a recruiter for a very short amount of time. I recruited investment bankers between 2008 and 2010. So if anybody here doubts that I'm gritty, there you go. I just proved it. But we do so much. Simple things like using a call recorder and recording your calls with candidates and being able to go back and ask questions of the call that you had. We're human beings. We don't capture 100% of information. So being able to go back and say, why did they leave their last job? Or what did they say was the revenue they achieved in that position? The AI call recording software is really good at being kind of a collaborator with you to help you understand, what did we talk about? I like granola, but there's a million of them that you could choose from. And then capturing that information, capturing what you're talking about with your customers and with your candidates, and being able to use that in an effective way. Imagine a world where you take, I don't know, the last 100 CIO searches that you've done and the details around that, and you dump it into a deep research platform or into Google Notebook LM, and you ask it, tell me some of the trends that have emerged in the last 2 months on CIO recruiting. It's going to give you some great information that as a human being probably would have taken me days to pull together something equivalent, because it's unstructured. It's words. I have to look at words and try to figure out how to turn that into trends. AI is so good at that. And it makes us, I don't believe that AI is going to eliminate the need for humans. I think it's going to power what one of my board members calls the intellectual worker, somebody who can leverage AI and harness AI to become exponentially better and more effective and more value added than they could have if we were manually powering this with our own silly brains and hands.
Well, you brought up, see, I have a fear of AI. And I have a fear of AI for my constituency in the recruiting world, because you said it best. What I hear is they found an easier way to make contact with people. And that's not how relationships are built. And the recruiting world is all about building relationships. And that's you and I talking. What you brought up was one example of how powerful the tool was. And I mean, I took that hook, line, and sinker, record a conversation, and then ask AI, why did this person change? Or asking them to find that information off of that phone call. Brilliant. Because we all have our fallacies in listening and so forth, that we're not going to hear everything. So what other tools, with your couple of years of experience in recruiting, what are some other examples? Because our audience here is going to be a lot of recruiters. What are some other examples that AI could be a valuable tool like the recording function?
Yeah. Well, I think anything where you have to analyze or find insights in large sets of data or unstructured data, AI is great for that. And again, it's Google Notebook LM, it's deep research on OpenAI. Those are great tools for that. Um, Also, in the recruiting space, ATS software is either adding AI capabilities or there are new ATS platforms that are AI native. So I just remember all the absolutely mind numbing tasks that I would have to go through when recruiting, a bunch of button clicking, a bunch of manual workflows. AI can do a lot of that for you now. And so ATSs don't just become a repository of information, but they become a tool to help you move faster and more efficiently. I think that's really helpful. Um, there's tools like Hyphenate that help you with the documentation that you work on. So whether it's proposals, candidate briefs, and I remember when I was in recruiting, one of my jobs was to write out like 3-page candidate briefs that described the candidate's background and why they're a fit and what are the risks. I can do that in 10 seconds with AI right now. I can do that in 10 seconds. And so that's a great use case for it. But again, and I'm going to reinforce that I don't think recruiters have anything to worry about, at least not the good ones, to get eliminated, because AI is only as good as the information that you feed it. So you mentioned relationship building. If I'm talking to a candidate and I'm bad at my job, the candidate is going to be guarded. They're going to give me surface level answers, and I'm not going to know to dig in deeper. And I'm not going to expose who this person really is. And then I won't really understand what their risks are and what the rewards are for bringing this person in-house, even if I use AI. But if I'm good at what I do, I get somebody to relax on the other end of the call. I get them to open up. I get them to speak freely. I can tell when their answers, I'm using EQ and reading body language to see there's something more here. I'm going to keep digging. I'm asking follow-up questions. I'm getting to the root why. You take a bad recruiter's call transcript and a good recruiter's call transcript, and you're going to get two wildly different candidate overviews. And so the people who really lean into the humanity of this work, I think AI only makes your job safer and the work you do more valuable. It's not a threat.
So, in selfishly, thank you, because I want to focus on Hyphenate, okay?
Yeah.
But
yes.
This AI, when I was reading about your background and so forth, your passion for it really made me click. And I wanted to bring some of our audience that are recruiters to be able to understand another viewpoint of how to use it as a tool as opposed to as a solution. And and unfortunately with technology today, I dare say there's an awful lot of people that are looking for the easiest way instead of doing it the right way. And there lies the AI part of it, because my vision of AI is it's a conglomerate of information that's fed into it. But it's not just my information. What you gave was some examples of how I can use it for just my information. That's so valuable. Whether it's the ATS, because now I can go into AI and ask them to search my ATS for somebody that has these qualifications, instead of me spending 3 hours looking through all my notes and everything in there. So thank you for that. And I really appreciate that. Now let's go back to Hyphenate.
Great.
What is it about Hyphenate? Because you're a consulting company that helps people grow and scale. I mean, I understand that. But what is it about your company, Hyphenate, that is different? What is it about your company that you and your team bring to the party that is just a little bit better than anybody else doing the exact same thing?
Yeah. Well, we are purpose built for the industries we serve. We serve services businesses where every deal you close is a unique snowflake. Every project you work on is unique and bespoke, even if the solutions you provide are exactly the same every single time. Because it's a customer's challenge or opportunity that you're working against, the way they talk about it, the implications within their business, that all changes how you design how you're going to support that customer. And I say for our customers, every proposal, every change order, every SOW, every work order, it's a story. It's a story that shows the person on the other side of that document that I heard you, I understood what you're trying to do, and that builds credibility that I can help you. And I'm going to tell you how I can help you and what you can expect and what I'm not going to do and why you should work with me and what the cost and timeline of that's going to be. And all of that is designed to sell the project. And then the second they sign the contract, it's the thing that you go back to when a new stakeholder comes in and says, wait, I want to do something different. You go, no, that would be a change order. So it has to be really detailed. And every other piece of software on the market that's focused on building these business development documents is focused on responding to RFPs. And our customers absolutely respond to RFPs, but they provide services. And so if I've worked in tech for a decade. If I get an RFP, I get questions like, are you SOC 2 compliant? What is your coverage level on cybersecurity insurance? And I might not know the answers to those questions, but AI can go find those answers for me. The answer is pretty much always the same. It grabs it, puts it into my document. Now, imagine I'll use recruiters. If I'm doing an RFP for a recruiting role, the question is going to be something like, what do you think are the most important characteristics in a private equity-backed CEO in the manufacturing space right now? And that's not like a stock answer that you could pull from your document library. Of course, I can create the answer to that question, of course, but it's likely from a combination of proposals I've written in the past and my own professional opinion that I want to be able to tell the tool, and I want the tool to prioritize my expertise, my opinion over a document that it finds in my library. And so what our technology does is you can literally talk to it. You can click a record button and have a conversation with our tool. We take what you say and we use that as the backbone of the solution. And then we look through your historic proposals and SOWs to find, I call it the icing on the cupcake or the sprinkles on the cupcake, those elements from past projects that maybe you didn't even know your company did because a colleague in Singapore was the one who executed it. But there's this perfect thing that they did, given what your customer is trying to do. We add that onto it. And so not only do you get to a final state in a fraction of the time, but that solution is better than what you would have put together by yourself, because it's taking into account institutional knowledge, not just your personal expertise.
Tough question. Do you have an example of a really personal success story that you've hit with Hyphenate?
Yeah. One of our customers said before Hyphenate, it took them 90 minutes to write an SOW. Start to finish, they get it done in 8 with our system. Now, time savings, in my opinion, it's a really important metric right now. 2 years from now, that's going to be table stakes. It's not going to be that interesting. But today, for that firm, that unlocks quick math here, 82 minutes. For people who have been doing this work for 20 years that make a lot of money, that are subject matter experts, that's 82 minutes that they can redeploy to something else in their work, whether it's going deeper, asking better questions. That is an incredibly valuable ROI that I can deliver back to the customer. And then on top of that, our system knows, the way I describe it is, we know all the questions you want to answer in your documents for it to be considered a world-class document. I can show you. You might think you're done. You might think you wrote the world's best proposal, and I could show you, you forgot to answer 5 really important questions. And over time, I can actually tell you, of the 40 questions you like to answer in your proposals, which ones drive win rate when answered. which ones drive customer satisfaction when answered. So I can start to turn kind of the meta view of your business development documents into data that you can use that makes you even better.
Where did all this come from? I mean, forgive me, but your background, for a lack of better terminology, sales, marketing, growing, whatever your responsibility was. Everything you're talking about, I get. You were in sales. That's what a recruiter does. But the reality of it is, you've taken this so far beyond sales. Yes, you still need the sales to get them to buy into Hyphenate. You're used to that. You've got a career built on that. But and I'm sorry, but I'm trying to understand, how did you transition to sales and winning sales and everything to this in-depth technology that creates solutions for your clients? And it isn't you growing their business, it's them growing their business, but you showing them the path. Where did that come from?
I would say there's kind of two pieces of my journey that have contributed. The first is I am a female in a revenue role in both professional services and tech. And what the world has beaten into me is that I have to be perfect to be, perfect to pass. And so from very early on in my career, I would be up all night practicing because I needed to be perfect on that call. I would go in and I would learn everything about my company because there was no question I wasn't going to be able to answer. And so that's just a part of who I am now, is if I don't understand something, if I don't know something, I dive headfirst into it and I learn it. And then the other piece is that, I don't know, I have this unfounded belief that I could do anything and I just jump into things. And I've done that my whole career. And I didn't go from just sales and marketing directly to founding a business. Over the last 8 years, I would join a company as the VP of customer success or the chief revenue officer. And over time, I'd say there looks to be a problem over there in operations, or it doesn't look like our product development cycle is moving the way it should, or there's something broken in engineering. And I would just take it and say, I'm going to go fix that. I'm going to go lean in and do more. And so I got a lot of great experience leaning into problems that weren't mine to solve, that I think have served me well in this role, because there's nothing that we're doing in Hyphenate that I haven't at least touched before. Now, I'm not an expert and I hire great people to augment me, but there's nothing that's completely foreign, because I've kind of put myself in those weird situations for as long as I can remember.
I love your passion and your attitude. I mean, it's something that I hold very dear to my heart, is what this country is all about. You can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. But you know what? Success comes disguised as hard work. And you're just proof of that. So where do you see Hyphenate? Where do you see the value of Hyphenate 3 to 5 years down the road?
3 to 5 years down the road, we have gone well beyond the tip of the spear of helping you write documents to win business. We are fully integrated across the project life cycle. And for the companies that we're supporting, everything they do is a project. And so we are in every corner of their business. We are helping you win deals. We're helping you set the project plans. We're helping you execute that work. We have owned AI agents that are going out and doing elements of the work that are ripe for AI to go do. And we're working alongside your team to make you, maybe you're the same size and you're twice as profitable. Maybe you are a leaner team and you're maintaining your profit margins. Maybe you're in an entirely new industry because we've allowed you to crack into a new space that you didn't have time to explore before. But we are the fabric on the walls within your company, and we are an AI native platform that powers what services businesses do.
So let's take it one step further. We have probably a varied audience going to view these recordings. What message would you like to send to them today?
I would say have a balanced view of AI. You can't control what's coming. It is coming. It's advancing at a pace that I've never seen before. It's not going to solve all your problems, and it's not going to kill you. It's probably somewhere in between. And so lean into this idea of how can I make better use of AI than the person next to me? How do I get better because it's here? And how do I growth mindset? No, I'm 42 years old. I growth mindset every day. I might not know how to use that part of AI yet. I might not know how to unlock this new capability yet. I was an expert yesterday. I'm a beginner today. And I think that will serve all of us really well.
Debra, thank you so very, very much for your time today. Your energy just vibrates. And I love that about you. You really are. And you hold yourself out there as a pillar of success. And I wish you all the luck in the world. I really do. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.